Trust and respect are often used interchangeably, but they are different. Respect refers to an individual's esteem for another. Trust is if a person will rely on another when not seen by others. Trust and respect are needed to be effective to the team performance. If members have high respect without trust, members will act with less cohesion and fear others' intentions. If members have trust without respect, members can get along but find their teammates' contributions unimportant or not valuable. Conflict in teams can be a vital tool when it leads to functional outcomes. Conflict can create better decision-making, quicker and more effective problem-solving, and lead to creativity and innovation. Understanding if team conflict is functional or dysfunctional is how to deal with it and how it becomes a problem is key to good communication in the team. The first step to dealing with conflict is understanding if it needs to be dealt with or if it even exists. There are 3 types of opportunities for conflict, being communication, including language barriers, group size, and tasks, personal variables, which could be emotions. Opportunities do not always lead to conflict, but must be present for it to exist. If the opportunities exist, it must then become personalized. There can be conflict without any tense or hostile feelings, and intervention is not needed. When conflict becomes felt and emotions are involved is when issues may arise. Next are the intentions involved. These are measured by how much each individual puts into their attempt to satisfy the other person or themselves. This gives way to several conflict dynamics. The behavior stage is when it is easiest to tell if conflict will result in functional or dysfunctional outcomes. This is when there are statements and actions of the members and they're viewable to outside individuals. When members start to become overtly challenging or threatening, the situation must be diffused to reduce the possibility of a dysfunctional outcome. Stepping in too early or when there is no real conflict can take away from the group's ability to problem solve or be innovative. Understanding how to diffuse the situation is greatly benefited by understanding the types of conflict. Task conflict relates to disagreements about the content or goals of the work being done. This can be stimulating if kept functional. Relationship conflict are interpersonal conflicts that become personal or social. These do not lead to innovation in the group and can be particularly hurtful to problem-solving groups since they must possess high interpersonal skills for decision-making and brainstorming. Process conflict relates to how work is done and the duties and resources each person has. It is basically who does what. This conflict can be an issue in our team because of the cross-functional nature and should be watched for early on. As a leader, I will be providing downward communication to the team. Organizational leaders and managers will also need to provide this type of communication. Goals, instructions, policies, and feedback are some of what will be provided to the group. For downward communication to be effective, it must be explained. Robbins and Judge mentioned that one study found employees were twice as likely to be committed to change when the reasons behind them were fully explained. This is important for the project team because there will be many organizational factors going into creation of the performance evaluation system. Engaging the team's opinion of the downward communication will also help keep them involved and make them feel respected and heard. The team will also have to provide plenty of upward communication to me and the other organizational leaders. This could be their progress and any issues they are having. Upward communication is important to understand the conditions of the team. It is hard for managers to engage in upward communication based on distractions, but it is my job as team leader to make this a priority for the team. Lateral communication will be the most common form of communication for the team since they are all on the same level when working on the project. Lateral communication can be good or bad based on the conflict type and if social loafing is involved. The team will mostly be involved in oral communication with a high channel richness in being face-to-face. This is important for problem solving so that the interpersonal skills can be most effective and nonverbal communication can be seen. Mental models are a newer concept that involve how coordination and functions lead to effectiveness. Thompson defines it as a common understanding that members of the group or team share about how something works. There are two key concepts on how these mental models work. The accuracy of the information stored in a mental model is imperative to problem solving. If the mental model holds incorrect information about a task, the results could be worse than ineffective. When external factors shift the goals or ideas of the team, their mental model will create the result of decisions and adaptivity based on previous experiences. The closer the mental models of the team members, the more effective and successful the change in coordination. There are three types of mental models that can be useful in team settings. The task focus model focuses on the use of equipment, the procedures of the organization, and the performance requirements. This model will be useful to avoid skill redundancy by being unique to each individual. When each member has a specific task, they can share their expertise with other members. A team focus model is interpersonal based. It involves knowing the knowledge, skills, and abilities of members and the rules for interacting with each other. This structure can overlap with the team members and is encouraged to do so in order to create the most effective communication. This is an important model to focus on for the problem-solving team so that they can communicate and coordinate the best. Transactive focus models relate to memory of knowledge shared by team members showed during tasks and projects. The more members work together, the more transactive knowledge they gain. Having a problem-solving team, they will only be together for one task and may not develop a large amount from this model, but it should be kept in mind that if the team is successful, the transactive model could serve useful for future product needs. Team learning is a factor in the development, modification, and reinforcement of mental models. Goodman defines team learning as a base process in which knowledge is shared, stored, and retrieved. Some team learning behaviors are: corrective feedback can be a valuable learning opportunity for team members. Feedback should be positive for motivation and corrective when behavior or performance needs to be addressed. As team leader, I must coach the team through these types of feedback to make use of educational outcomes. An assessment or 360-degree feedback should be used to allow the team to evaluate the team and other members' performance when the project is over. When summarized, each member can understand how they contributed well and what they could do better. It also allows the team to understand how well they work together as a whole. Team self-correction happens naturally when there needs to be attitude and behavior corrections. This aids in the members' ability to problem solve and provide corrective feedback. Since teams are learning from each other as members, there are various ways for teams to gain information and skills. The what and how are key factors of learning from the environment. The what involves finding the best practices to complete tasks. The how is the activities that are given. Team members may adapt practices from new members if it proves to be better than the current ones. Newcomers can bring fresh ideas to the team from viewing it on the outside. Teams learn best from direct experiences that can lead to transactive focused mental models. These can be contributed to the direct feedback involved in doing an activity oneself. In a what doesn't kill you makes you stronger sense, the team can be met with a valuable learning experience even when not successful. When given the ability to reflect on performance and decisions, a team can create better practices and learn which ones to avoid. As a leader, tons of challenges are possible and some are inevitable when working with a team. Social loafing and free riding are inevitable challenges in teams. Social loafing is when a team member loses motivation and does not put in as much work. Free riding can be caused by feeling that individual contributions are not identifiable, not feeling like one's contributions matter, and not wanting to be left with all the work. Free riding is when a team member benefits from others doing all the work and not contributing themselves. Keeping the team smaller, increasing identifiability, and promoting involvement help reduce social loafing and free riding. Time pressure can give an added challenge and responsibility to a task, but can also work in an adverse manner if not managed correctly. Since our project is based on creating a system and problem solving, time constraints will be involved. To avoid issues, there should be a reasonable amount of time allocated to finish the project. The task should also have a level of difficulty that is possible for the team members to complete with their knowledge, skills, and abilities.